Hey everyone, Leeroy from Check the Level here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create an estimate in QuickBooks Online and then create progress invoices from that estimate. Why it's so important to know this workflow is if you can start progress invoicing out of estimates, it can really save you a lot of time when it comes to actually issuing estimates out to your customers. So the first thing we'll want to do before we even get started in creating the estimates and progress invoicing is we'll want to check if the progress invoicing feature within QuickBooks Online is actually turned on. So to do that, you want to navigate to this gear icon on the top right. You want to go account and settings. And then I believe it's under sales and invoices. So if you click on here, and you scroll down, just look for progress invoicing. There it is. You'll want to make sure that this feature is turned on. If this feature is not turned on, you won't be able to issue those progress invoices out of the estimate. So do turn that on before you start following this walkthrough. So once that's turned on, the next thing you'll want to do is create the customer who is interested in receiving an estimate. Now, if you've watched any of the previous videos where I talk about the parent customer, sub customer relationship in QuickBooks Online and why that is so important to keep in the back of your mind while you're doing job costing, because if you don't use sub customers effectively, you won't get the job costing features within QuickBooks Online. In this video, I'm actually going to create a parent customer and a sub customer from scratch and then assign that estimate to the customer. So the first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to navigate to sales, right? And you can click on overview. Actually, the best place to go is to customers. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new customer. So remember, we're going to add a parent customer first. This is typically the first name and last name of the customer or company. So I'm just going to create a customer here. I'm going to call this customer, let's think of a customer name. Let's just call it Loki Level. And then you can add the email address or any other information here, but this is the parent customer, right? So I'm going to click save. I've created that parent customer. The next thing I'm going to do is create a sub customer, right? So I'm just going to come back to customers. Next thing I'm going to do is create a new customer, and let's say Loki Level is interested in a home and bathroom reno. Now, when it comes to actually creating the name for the project, the sub customer is effectively the project. What you want to do is come up with some sort of naming convention. So this could either be, the street address. If it's repeat work, you might want to add like some numerical values to it. So maybe I'm going to call this 2022-05 because that's when I received the estimate. It's in May of 2022, and it's a new home and bathroom reno, right? The next thing I want to do is say is a sub customer, and I'll look for Loki Level, just select him, and then you'll want to make sure, depending on where the billing information is, you'll either want to ensure that it says bill parent customer or you want to toggle this off. For this case, I'm just going to leave it as bill to parent customer, but it's worthwhile seeing how that has an impact on your estimates after this video. Cool, so I've created this project. You'll see, or sub customer, you'll see Loki Level here, and indented will be the actual sub customer name. So now I know I've created a sub customer for this customer or parent customer, and I've done the right thing from a job costing perspective within QuickBooks Online. I know that if I create any estimates or invoices or any sort of transactions assigned to this sub customer, I'll actually be able to get that job costing features within QuickBooks Online. All right, so now that I've created the sub customer, step one, the next step is I'll want to create that estimate. So the next thing I'll do is I'll click on new transactions. I'll click estimates. You can also do it from here, new estimate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for low-key level, but I'm actually going to select the sub-customer. This is really important, guys. Again, it's always about sub-customers or projects, right? Like if we're not selecting sub-customers or projects, we won't get job costing out of QuickBooks Online, right? So I'm just going to select the sub-customer. You can add the email address here. I'm just going to put the level email address here, the support email address, which I've typoed a bit, but that would be the support email address. You can always say send later. There's a couple of other things you can do here. You can change the status of the estimate. You can update the billing address or billing information, the estimate date. If there's an expiration date on your estimate, you can actually change that. If you want to create your own customized estimate invoicing or estimate number format, you can actually have that set up here. You can tag the estimate. Maybe this is a bathroom reno and I want to tag all my bathroom reno estimates, right? You can actually create a tag here. Some really cool little features here, but the meat of what we want to actually get into is in these fields, right? So in these fields, you can actually break down your estimate into different components. If you want to add a service date or break down your job into different service dates, you can. In later videos, I will talk about the products and services and how this works, but by default, you should have something that's called sales. You'll want to select sales in there. Now the description here, you'll actually want to describe what you're doing, right? If you're breaking your job into different phases, like I'm going to now. So I've created this Google Doc and I have an estimate here, or the descriptions of an estimate that I've broken down into 3 phases, which is demo, drywall, and bathroom. You'll see how this becomes important when we're creating our invoicing. So right now I'm just going to copy and paste this information here, and I'm going to assume, the service dates are over, every 2 weeks. So I'm just going to copy this information over. All right. And then one more, I'll put in the amounts later. You'll see how that comes together. So I've put in all the amounts and, the service dates, the products and services, and the descriptions of the different work that I'm doing on this job. All right. I'm not gonna, you might not see classes here. Please ignore this. We won't cover that in this call, in this walkthrough video today. But the next thing we want to do is just add the amounts, right? The rates. If you do this in quantities, you can add quantities and rates, and you can just add the amount. So I'm just going to assume that the demo I have quoted will be 10,000. The actual drywalling will be 20,000, and then the bathroom will be 33,000, right? All right. Now you might have some tax features here, so you'll want to select the right tax. I believe in this, you can change whether you want your estimate to be exclusive or inclusive of tax. If I chose exclusive of tax, the amount would these amounts would be exclusive of tax, and if I added the tax rates here, it would populate those amounts here, right? Worth trying these out if you are in a region that charges sales tax within for your services. So once that's set up, something that's helpful to do is just click the print or preview option here, and this will actually show you what the estimate looks like. Oh, I actually have to choose sales tax rates. So I've got quite a few here, but let's just say, because we're based in Ontario, Canada, I'm just going to select the Ontario, Canada rates. If you haven't enabled sales tax on your QuickBooks Online, this won't be an issue. Again, coming back here now, you can actually see the sales tax being displayed here, and this is the total amount of the estimate. Now coming back here, trying to preview this, it's going to save this estimate, right? When you click print or preview, it actually saves the estimate. But don't worry, you can always override the save. And then here, right, this is what the customer would see on their estimates, right? So here is the address, a breakdown of the date, the description, the tax, the quantity, the rate. I'll show you how to change this formatting in a later video. There is some ways to customize this. We will be touching on that in another walkthrough video. I mean, you could also customize it by just clicking the customize button. but I'm just going to go for what's included in here. Again, you can also add, any messages or displays on the estimate, like if you've got terms of service here, or if you want to add payment information, right? If I just started typing here and I said terms of service, so you could add your terms of service here. Again, if I click print or preview, you will actually see that messaging display on the estimate itself, right? So coming back here at the bottom, here you go. Here's the information with regards to what I typed in that box. Cool. So if you have any terms of service, or if you want to share your bank account information, sorry, or how you accept payment, this would be a great place to add that. If there's any attachments that you'd like to add, like photos or anything like that, you can actually attach it here too. Sorry. Cool, I'm back. So once this is done, you can click save. Now, the next thing you'll want to do is create progress invoices off of this. So to do that, what you can do is you can click create invoice here. If you look at the estimate, alternatively, you come to all sales, so coming to sales, all sales, and you filter for estimates. Here's that estimate I just created. Again, you'll know it's assigned to a sub-customer because it's got the semicolon, which is what we're looking for. Now you can say save and send after you've completed this. This will actually email the client a copy of the estimate. So do feel free to actually add your own email address here and then click save and send just to get a test, right? The idea here is you want to create one estimate as a test estimate, and then before you send it out to the client, so you can get the full experience, right? So do test this out, create save and send, and it will actually send one to yourself by inputting your company's email address in here, right? So I can click create invoice like I showed you before, or I can just click create invoice directly here, and then it'll give me a couple of options, right? And the options are the same. If I go in here and I click create invoice, it's going to give me those options. So the first thing that I can do is I can actually just create an invoice for the total invoice amount, right? But I actually want to progress invoice here. So there's a couple of ways that I can do this. I can do it as a percentage of each line. So that will take all the lines in the invoice and take 50% of each line. That's not what I'm looking for. I actually want to do a custom amount for each line. So I'm going to click create invoice here, and why I'm doing that is because I want to invoice out for the first phase. So what I'm going to do now is I am actually just going to choose $10,000 here, and this will actually create an invoice, and you'll see it's linked to an estimate, and this means it's linked to the original estimate. And again, you can add messages to the invoice if you'd like here, or attach any attachments. But I'm just going to invoice out for this first phase, right? So I'm just going to click save here. Again, some things you'll want to do is, in case before you want to send it, you can also say print and preview. So here you can see I've invoiced out the 10,000 only. So this invoice is worth 11,300. The homeowner can see that I still haven't invoiced out for the other amounts yet, but those are coming up, right? So pretty much that's how you create a progress invoice. Now, some of the other things you might want to check are like your terms. Do you want receipts due in 15 days, or is it a customized? Again, double check your billing address. And that's pretty much it. Again, one of your best friends is this print or preview. If the invoice doesn't look the way that you want it to look, I'll show you how to customize it in a later video. But this is a great way to save a lot of time, right? If you're progress invoicing off of an estimate, it just means you don't have to recreate that estimate every time, right? Cool. If you have any questions about this walkthrough video, do feel free to reach out to us at support@checkthelevel.com. I'm going to show you one more thing before I go, and that's going to show you a very nifty report. So if we come into reports, and what you'll want to do is I've got it saved as a favorite, but if you come into sales and customers and you go estimates and progress invoicing summary by customer, you select this, and what it will do, this report will actually show you all the estimates that have progress invoicing attached to them. So here we go, look at low key level. The total amount of the estimates is $72,000 roughly. We've invoiced $11,300, meaning there's still about $60,000 that hasn't been invoiced yet. This report is just great to understand like where you are on each of your jobs, what's coming in the pipeline. So I still have $76,000 of uninvoiced estimates that are coming in down in the pipeline. Just helps you plan for your financials and budget better in your business if you look at this report. Cool, and that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. Again, if you've got any questions about this walkthrough video, do reach out to us at support@checkthelevel.com, and keep a lookout for our next video, which is going to show you how to customize the estimates and invoice templates within QuickBooks Online. As always, let's go out and build better, and cheers, Leeroy.